And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy, Cheap Ludes, and we are back with another tier list. This time we're going to be talking about the best small forwards in NBA 2K21, my team, from now basically to the beginning of the year. So if you're new to the channel, man, drop a like on this video. Comment down below what you think of the tier list in general, and subscribe, man. So let's talk about parameters. S tier, unquestionable best cards in the game. Guys that no matter who you have on your roster, like they'll make your roster better in some way, shape, or form. A tier, just kind of a shade under S tier. Like also guys that'll pretty much improve your roster if you have any of the guys in B tier or below. If you add those guys, they're usually good at and for every single game mode and do kind of everything pretty decent. B tier guys, super specialist guys. They're all incredibly good. Very just objectively good cards. They're acceptable enough for every game mode and every situation. C tier guys, specialist guys. They're good at one or two things, or they're just kind of middle of the road players, and you know they're passable enough in pretty much every game mode. D tier guys are like really super specialist guys. In the right hands, they're incredible, but for the most part, they should kind of be left alone for guys in C, B, or A, or S tier. In addition, D tier guys, they might have some other guys that are really, really good in like a certain setting, maybe like a limited run or like TTO or something like that. F tier guys that no matter what, you can do better, straight up. Like that's just how I feel. And like right off the bat, we got at least one guy in F tier, which is Sean Elliott. I'm a big Sean Elliott guy, but he deserves to be here, and to a certain extent, Brent Barry does too. Granted, he's like the top of that. He may be subject to move up to D tier, but we'll kind of see. Now, Bruce Bowen's perfect for C tier. The reason for that is just because he's an excellent 3-and-D defensive card. At the Ruby tier, he's going to be very useful in both like TTO and like certain limited runs and stuff like that. He's probably, besides Matisse Thybulle, the best defensive Ruby card. But at the small forward position, he's without a doubt one of the best small forward defenders, especially in the Ruby tier, even above some of the Amethyst and stuff like that. Michael Finley is a very good card for B tier. He's just kind of a middle of the road, pretty good card. If you're good with Michael Finley, you like his jump shot, etc., he's going to improve your team. He's going to be a good guy for you. So next up, we got an A tier guy, is Grant Hill. Grant Hill's 100% A tier. He's good at pretty much everything. He's not great particularly at everything. He's great at certain things, but he's good at everything. He's good for every game mode. Excellent defender. He can shoot pretty well. His jump shot's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. He attacks the rim well. He plays defense well. He's got a good player build. He's just a shade under S tier in my opinion. But I like Grant Hill a lot. I still run him on my main team. So Xavier McDaniel. I think what keeps him out of D tier or F tier is the fact that he is very good for like certain limited runs and triple threat online and stuff like that. He fits the parameters of D tier pretty well. Like he's a very good card in the Sapphire tier. He's good at a couple game modes. He plays good defense and attacks the rim. So Purvis Short. Purvis Short's D tier. He's usable enough, but there's better options. Like if we're being honest, personally, I would use Bruce Bowen over Purvis Short. He's just a little outdated. He came out in the beginning of the year, so. Cam Reddish. I think Cam Reddish is A tier. He's the upper echelon of A tier. Everything I said about Grant Hill goes double for Cam Reddish. It's just a personal preference. He's got that Paul George base, so how you feel about that is going to be dictated. Now, what sucks is he only has silver range, and I don't believe it can be. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure you can't upgrade it to gold, and that's the only thing that keeps him out of S tier, in my opinion. Like, realistically. If you could update it to gold, he has kind of weak hot zones too. That's the only other issue. But yeah, the only thing keeping him out of X tier is just not, I said X tier, S tier, is just not being able to raise up that gold range extender. He's excellent defensively. He can handle the ball a little bit. Obviously, it's like some guys handle the ball better than him. He attacks the rim at a different rate. He plays great defense. It's just if he had that gold range extender, it would make him that much better. It's the only thing I have against him. Chandler Parsons is C tier. I don't really like Chandler Parsons too much, but I can't deny the fact that he's very tall at the small forward position. He has a really easy to time jump shot. He's usable in certain situations. He basically, I don't know, embodies C tier, I guess. Julius Erving. I think Julius Erving is better than Michael Finley personally, but he's still B tier. Like, he's not on the same level as these two guys. He's a worse version of these two guys. Chris Mullin's B tier as well. Excellent sharpshooter. Plays a little bit of defense, can attack the rim. Unfortunately, it's not Golden State, Chris Mullin. And the other thing is not a lot of people have this card. So if you have him and use him, he is a lights out shooter. But I really don't think he's as good as like Cam Reddish and Gray Hill. Same goes for Dominique. Dominique's still good. His badge count's just a little bit lower, but he's elite at attacking the rim. He's not as good as he once was. I don't think he's as good as Cam Reddish or Grant Hill. Chuck Parsons, C tier. He's just meh. He's okay. Cliff Hagen's going to be a divisive one. I think at the 2-guard position, he's probably B tier. I'll put him at B tier just because he's got that off range and some good shooting badges. He can facilitate a little bit, play a little bit of defense, but honestly, I'm taking probably all 4 of these guys over Cliff Hagen. I mean, Cliff Hagen and Chris Mullin aren't too different, realistically. Cliff Hagen's just got better shooting badges, and Chris Mullin is a little bit better on the player build side, but they deserve to be right next to each other. Connie Hawkins is B tier as well. Plays excellent defense, attacks the rim really well. It's wish he shot a little bit better, but he's still really good. If you're using Connie Hawkins, like, he's an effective card for sure. B and C tier are probably going to be the biggest tiers in this tier list. Corey Maggetti's D. He's just outdated. All these guys up here are better than him. Same with Mark Aguirre. Mark Aguirre deserves to be there too. Once again, just outdated. Mark Aguirre's never a guy that's really that great in TTO, or not TTO, but 2K in general. He's okay. Danny Granger, play all offense, no defense, D tier. I like Danny Granger a lot. Like, when he gets a more upgraded card later on, I'll use him because he's really, really good. I'm probably one of the only people in the like entire world that thinks Danny Granger in 2K is pretty much exactly the same as like Paul George. Like, they have damn near the same player build. They're pretty much the same player, realistically. They're both... Obviously, this card and Paul George are not the same player, but in real life, they weren't very different from each other. And in certain ways, if you get the Danny Granger jump shot timing down as well as the Paul George jump shot timing down, they're not that much different. Like, last year, the ping time and Paul George everyone loved was not that much different than the Galaxy Opal Danny Granger in the grand scheme of things, if you know what I'm saying. Kevin Durant, probably C tier. I don't really think this KD is that great. He has some glaring flaws to him. He's still very usable, but I think all of these guys in the grand scheme of things are better than him, realistically. Mike Miller, I can't put him lower than Chandler Parsons. Like, he's an excellent sharpshooter, but he's not on Cliff Hagen or Chris Mullin's level, but he's solid. Scotty Pippen. Honestly, dude, this one's a reach, but I really think Scotty Pippen's A tier. He's elite. Like, he's elite at everything. He's one of the best defensive cards in the game. I don't think it's even particularly close. I think defensively he's better than Cam Reddish and Grant Hill. He has a slow jump shot, but if you know how to time it, it's really easy to green. He's an elite 3-and-D cone, but he can also handle the ball and attack the basket too. No one's going to agree with this one. People are going to put him down in like C tier because he has a slow jump shot, because YouTubers freak out when a jump shot's even remotely fucking slow for some reason, but Scottie Pippen's elite, man. He's elite at all 5 game modes. You can use him everywhere. He's cheap. There's just no downsides to this card except for that mildly slow jump shot. That's hard to time. That's the only thing keeping him out of S tier, because legitimately this card is really that good. Evan Turner, D tier. There's just better options for what he does. He's F. I don't like this card. Like, he's really bad. Shane Battier, C tier. He's like Bruce Bowen. He's a 3-and-D cone. A pretty good one at that. Alex English. He's a Carmelo clone, so he can't really shoot from the corners, but he plays good offense. He's got a lanky frame. I love Carmelo's jump shot. It's really easy to time. Just that fact that you can't shoot threes from the corners, something that 2K refuses to fix, is so annoying. Apparently you can in next gen, but I don't know. Iguodala, A tier. Good. I don't have him because I don't play unlimited like that, but I have played around with him a few times. He's a really good card. Great 3-and-D stopper. He can attack the rim too. Iguodala's jump shot's kind of hit or miss. Some people love it, some people don't. So, Jimmy Butler, he's C tier. Jimmy Butler's a really good card in 2K. Typically, he's a great 3-and-D option. I really can't wait till we get better versions of Jimmy Butler, because like last year, the Opal from the Showtime set, I think it was Showtime. Yeah, was like my favorite 2-guard in the entire game besides Tracy McGrady for a while. So, this Julius Erving, Amethyst Julius Erving. I think he's better than all these guys in D tier, so I'm going to put him in C tier. He's okay. Darius Miles. I put him in B tier last time, but I think he's taking a step down. He's in C tier now. He's just not on the level of these guys up here. That being said, he's solid, though. Iguodala, D. Still usable in Ruby challenges, like limited and stuff like that, so he fits the parameters in D tier, but Matt Barnes is C tier. I don't care what anyone says. This is the best Sapphire in the entire game. It's not even particularly close. This card is better than most Rubies. Like, I'm not even kidding. He's an excellent 3 and D card. He's got great player build. He's got kind of a slow jump shot. The best way I can describe him is he's basically a Sapphire version of this Diamond Scotty Pippen. Fully evoed Denny Avicii. I don't like him, but he's C tier, I guess. He's got a big player build. He can shoot a little bit, attack the rim. He's solid. Glenn Robinson's still B tier. He's really that good. He plays defense. He has an elite jump shot. I think he has Zion Williamson base, I'm pretty sure. My man is crazy good. I don't really like him at the power forward, but at the small forward, as far as 3 and D guys, you can do a lot better. You can't. You just straight up can't. Andrew Wiggins. I don't think he's D tier, and the reason for that is he is a versatile card. You can use him in limited, TTO, etc. He's got that dynamic duo. Himself, he's pretty a solid card as well, so C tier kind of makes sense for him. Tony Kukoc. The fact that he can shoot keeps him out of F tier, but he's a really bad card, and I don't like him at all. Karan Butler's C tier as well. I like Karan Butler. He's actually pretty good. I know a lot of people hate this card. They don't like his jump shot or something. I think he's good, man. I don't really understand where the hate's coming from on this guy. Really solid, dude. Amethyst, Richard Jefferson. Once again, he can shoot, so he's keeping out of F tier. He's just not good. All these guys are better than him. Yes, even Matt Barnes. I'm saying that. Matt Barnes is better than Amethyst, Richard Jefferson. Jonathan Isaac. All right, people are not going to listen to me. I got to say he's upper echelon C tier. I don't think he's like B tier because, I mean, if we're looking at it like realistically, are you playing Jonathan Isaac over any of these guys at the small forward position? Absolutely fucking not. No, you are not. Like, it's not happening. Like, there's no way you're doing that to yourself unless you're selling these guys for MT, etc. But if you have Chris Mullin, you're not going to play Jonathan Isaac over him, and same with Connie Hawkins. But that being said, Jonathan Isaac is the upper echelon of C tier just for the versatility that he has. He's excellent for limited, unlimited TTO, TT offline, against CPU teams, challenges, domination, etc. He's going to be great for spotlight sims. Like, this card is really the best, one of the best Ruby cards in this game. For player build and defensive badges, etc. I wish he could shoot a little bit better, but current gen doesn't really do too many favors to him. But he is really that good of a Ruby card, but I'm not going to be crazy and throw him up in B or A tier. He's not. He doesn't deserve to be there. Like, straight up. He's incredibly good, but Havlicek C tier. He's okay. Like, same with my man here. I like Rudy a lot. I'm a big fan of this card, but I'm not insane. He's not on the level of these guys as far as, like, how good he is. I like this card a lot. Like, personally, I'm taking this card in my lineup over all these guys basically except Glenn Robinson. But that's because I've been playing with Rudy Gay for a really long time, and I have his jump shot down. I'm just a big fan of the way he operates and his animations and stuff like that. But just for the parameters of this tier list, C tier is where he belongs. Upper echelon of C tier, do not get me wrong. Like, it's ranked basically in order at this stage right now. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I can't really put him above that. Dennis Scott, he can shoot. It's the only thing that's keeping him out of D tier. He's just not that good of a card this year. It sucks because I really like him as a 6'8" guard. But they messed up his release. He can't really dribble, so it is what it is. Latrell Sprewell, still a good card, but he deserves to be in, like, C tier. Scotty Pippen Amethyst. I do not like this Scotty Pippen Amethyst card. I just don't. He brings absolutely nothing on offense. His defense is pretty solid, but I would take, like, Ruby Iguodala over him personally, even, like, Amethyst Richard Jefferson. Dennis Scott plays pretty good defense, so I would take all those guys over him. Can't say he's that much worse than Purvis Short, though, realistically. Like, yeah, I'll probably move. No, I'll keep these guys in D tier. They're not bad enough to be down in F tier, but Detlef Schrempf is probably he's probably B tier. Like, him and Glenn Robinson are pretty similar for what they do. Like, realistically, I don't really like Detlef Schrempf, so I would put him down at the bottom of B tier. But he's still a really good card. Dominique, he dunks really well, and he plays okay defense. But I don't think he's on the same level as some of these C tier guys. Belgian Baylor. Man, this one's going to get me in hot water because I really don't think that he's on the same tier as some of the... I guess he's lower end B tier, I guess. Even fully evoed at an opal, like his badge count is atrocious. He's just not that great of a card, personally. I mean, some people really love him, some people don't, so I'll put him in B tier just because of that, but I'll take all 4 of these guys above him. I'll take majority of these B tier guys over him. George Gervin's A tier. Straight up. He might even be S tier. He really is that good. He's really, really good. Like, I think legit, no, he's not S tier, but he's up there. Like, he's on this tier. George Gervin is super, super good. Is he really worth locking in that big-ass set for him? Probably not, like, in the long run, but as of right now, he's kind of an elite small forward. Gerald Green goes down here in the Ruby God tier. Gerald Green's really good. Not much more I can say. Gerald Wallace is incredibly good as well. He's C tier. Like I said, he's definitely not B tier, but C tier is where he belongs. Larry Bird's good, but he's just outdated at this point. C tier. And just for you know, your guys' awareness here, I am doing everything by primary position. So yes, I'm aware that Pink Diamond Larry Bird came out, but he's a primary power forward. So he'll be over on the power forward list where he's ranked. If I had to rank him as a small forward, though, he'd be like A or S tier, realistically. Diamond Giannis. I mean, he's Giannis, so he's still probably low-end B tier with, like, Elgin Baylor, because Giannis is, you know, player build, animations, and stuff like that pretty much dictate that he has to go B tier. He can't shoot, which isn't the biggest deal in the world. He can crack a wide-open jumper occasionally, but I'm not a huge fan of him. I'd probably use a lot of these guys over him, especially at small forward. Like, yeah, if we're talking just small forward, he'd probably be down in C tier, but he can play that power forward position. Like, if it was just SF, there was no secondary position, he'd be down in C tier, because Giannis is not a good player to play at small forward. Bernard King, D. I don't like this card, like, at all. You could argue he's up here in C tier, but I would probably use majority of these guys over him, personally. Lamar Odom, he's tough to rank. Probably D as well. I like Lamar Odom a lot, but this card just wasn't it, man. I just don't think he was that good. Like, personally. Yeah, it's tough, dude, because I'd probably take all of these guys on my team over Lamar Odom just because he can't shoot, like, at all, and he's not very fast either. He doesn't... It's just an early card, so he's outdated. I don't know, it's tough. Pink Diamond LeBron, still S tier. I don't like it. Like, I don't like putting him up here because I don't like this card at all. But LeBron's still super cheesy. His jump shot's really good this year. What more do I need to say? Ruby Mellow's like D tier. He's okay. He's a really nice free card. But I don't think he's up on the level of some of these guys. Like, I'm taking probably all these guys. But he's still useful in, like, limited and stuff like that and TTO. So he gets to be in D tier. Pink Diamond KD is probably still S tier. I think he's just real. KD's jump shot, player build, badges, everything. Like, he's probably still S tier. I don't think he's. I don't know. He's tough. I don't really want to put him in S tier. I'm not a huge fan of this KD, honestly. I'll probably just put him in upper echelon A tier with George Gervin. Like, my S tiers usually only have 1 or 2 cards, and I don't think Kevin Durant is out of this world better than all of these guys in A tier. I really don't, personally. Brandon Ingram's B tier. You know I love Brandon Ingram. You don't even need to hear me, explain that. You know what? I'm going to drop this Giannis and put Pink Diamond Giannis up here. For whatever reason, I thought Pink Diamond Giannis was a power forward first. I forgot he was a small forward. He's B tier, though. Like, as a power forward, he's incredible. Because he's Giannis. I don't know. He's really tough to rank, though, because he can't shoot, but he really is unstoppable. Like, attacking the rim and rebounding. He does everything really, really well. He just can't shoot. That's the only issue. Like, but he can shoot mid-ranges. This one can, at least, and he can shoot the open 3. I think he's low-end A tier. He's subject to move down to B tier. I would probably say that this Giannis is the highest end of B tier, and then this one's probably the lowest, but they deserve to probably be on the same tier because they're very similar cards. Kawhi Leonard C tier. He's still good, though. He's got his uses. He plays incredibly good defense, and he can shoot a little bit. I'm going to get flamed in the comments for this Giannis thing, but like I just don't know what to do with these two cards. You can get a badged up Diamond Giannis that's only slightly worse than this one, so they deserve to be on the same tier, just on opposite ends of it, you know? Ruby Brown. Ruby Brown's still annoying. Like he's LeBron. His badge count's kind of weak, but he's still LeBron. He's got those LeBron animations, LeBron jump shots. So Chris Middleton is probably B tier as well, probably on the lower end. I think Giannis is probably the lowest, but Chris Middleton's a great 3-and-D guy. You can't go wrong using him. He's probably not worth the lock-in, but he's all right. Diamond LeBron's still B tier. Like he's good. I'm not a huge fan of him, but I can admit that he's still good even though he's outdated. It's LeBron's animations that make him good. Glenn Rice. Glenn Rice is decent, but he plays absolutely no defense whatsoever. And he also doesn't have the shooting badges that would warrant putting him up in C tier like a Chandler Parsons or a Mike Miller would. So, Gordon Hayward, C tier. I don't like him, but he's all right. He's not like D or F tier. Hedo Turkoglu. Yeah, I can't put him in B tier. He's good, though. He's very good. I like him a lot. I would say my favorite cards in this tier, period, are probably Isaac and Hedo Turkoglu. Like, without a doubt. Like, I like Rudy. I like those cards a lot, but I don't know. Can't really put him lower, can't put him higher. Isaac Okoro, yeah, he's just not good. Straight up. Lou Hudson, D. He's not really that great. He's the best out of the D tier guys. Him and Lamar Odom, probably. But I can't say he's really that good. Lamar Odom, you could argue he's up in C. You definitely can't argue he's in B tier, but that's just me. Mo Peterson, he's got a really nice jump shot, decent size. He can play the two guards, so he gets C tier. Sean Marion, he's another upper echelon D guy. He can attack the rim, play defense. He's good for a few different modes, but he came out the first day the game was out. He's just not that good right now at this stage. Vince Carter. Vince Carter's probably still A tier. He's a really good offensive card. You'll run into Vince Carter's out in the wild and you'll get flamed with him. He's good, I think. Plays decent defense too. You could argue he deserves being B tier and another guy deserves to move up, but personal preference, I think Vince Carter's really good up here. Jamal Wilks. Jamal Wilks has his uses in Sapphire or under challenges. He plays good defense and attacks the rim really well, so that's why he's in D tier instead of F. Jamal Mashburn, I'm a big fan of this card, but at the same time, like I can admit that these guys are all pretty much better than him. Tyreek's C tier. He's okay, he's just a little outdated. James Worthy, I don't know, man. I don't think he's really on the same tier as any of these B tier guys, realistically, at this stage in the game. I think he probably is is the best card in C tier by a long shot. But I think he's very similar to like a Rudy or a Kawhi. He does a couple things really well and is good for a couple modes, but you don't run into James Worthy again for a reason. Joe Ingles is C tier. He plays good defense, has a really easy to time jump shot, and he fits well for TTO lineups and for limited, so he qualifies for C tier. Joe Smith's bad, but it's not his fault. It's just outdated. Josh Jackson. Move Jamal Wilks down because Josh Jackson is just better than Jamal Wilks at everything. They do the same thing. Kawhi Leonard's still D tier. He's not great, but he's a excellent defensive stopper for limited and TTO and stuff like that. He fits the D tier qualifications to a T. Keith Van Horn, you can get better. You can just get guys that do what Keith Van Horn does better for cheaper. Kelly Trapuka, same deal. He's not great. He's just outdated. There's nothing wrong with these guys necessarily. Like if you're wet with Kelly Trapuka, use Kelly Trapuka, you know. But I just think a lot of these guys are better. I'd move Kelly up to D tier actually. He's decent. He has uses. We're getting to the end here. Mellow. C. I think he's C tier. He's just not on these B tier guys like level at this stage. He's good though. I like this Mellow card a lot. He's an incredibly good diamond small forward. But realistically, when it comes down to it, like that fact that he cannot shoot from the corners and he only plays small forward, where if you're running certain freelance sets, he's always going to be, really hurts his value. Because I'd rather throw a guy like Glenn Robinson out there, personally. Kiki Vanderwee is also C tier. I like this card a lot. Some people hate it. It's not B tier level. It's just not. Lamar Odom, him and the Diamond are basically the exact same. They have their uses, but I just wish that this Lamar Odom could shoot just a little bit better. If he had like an 82-3, it'd make things, and a couple more shooting badges, it'd make things a lot better. Larry Cannon's D tier as well. Plays excellent defense and dunks, and there's situations where he's very good, but not too many of them. But I don't think he's worthless like in F tier. He has his uses. Same thing with Mike Dunleavy. Like, he's an okay card, and if you're good with him, go for it. You can use him in limited and stuff like that. He's just a little outdated, but you can badge him up nice. Diamond Paul George. Depends how you feel about Paul George. If you think he should go in B tier, I totally understand that. I just think all the guys in B tier are better than him. At this stage, he was just one of the first Idols cards to come out, so he's a little bit... I would put him low-end B tier with like LeBron and Giannis. Like, they're outdated cards, but they're still good for what they are. And then I think Pink Diamond Paul George is probably the best small forward in the game, realistically. I mean, you could argue it depends who you prefer, him or LeBron, but I think they're both clearly better than all of these guys. I think George Gervin is right there too, but I don't think I'm going to put him in S tier as of right now. Like, Cam Reddish is a worse version of Paul George. That's the only reason he's in A tier as opposed to S tier. Like, Paul George is just straight up better than Cam Reddish, but Cam Reddish can play two guards. You can run these two next to each other, which is something I did for a while. Grant Hill, he's better. Yeah, these guys deserve to be in A tier. I like Durant, but he has some flaws, and these guys really don't. Paul Pierce, I think he's probably B tier at this point. He's just a little bit outdated. These guys are all better than him. He's solid, though. If you have him, you're still using him, probably. Paul Pressey's not good. I can't put Peja in D tier because he still has uses, but, like, he's not great. But if you're wet with Peja, I mean, he's got great shooting badges. He's an excellent catch-and-shoot guy, and in certain situations with the right team built around him, he can be very effective. It just kind of depends. Reggie Williams is not good as well. No big deal, though. Richard Jefferson's B tier. Richard Jefferson, this free card is actually incredibly good. Some people are not going to agree with that. They're going to think he sucks because he doesn't have range, but, like, it's really not that big of a deal. You can add all those badges to him. He's a very good card. If you want to argue he's A tier, I would hear you out. I don't think he necessarily is. I think, like, Scotty Pippen and the one guy you could swap out for him, but I still think Scotty Pippen deserves to be an A tier. I'm a Bulls fan, dude, and, like, let me rock. Rick Fox is D tier. He's all right. He's usable in certain facets. Robert Reed. I do not like this card at all. Orlando, probably D tier. He's okay. Steven Jackson, upper echelon D tier, I would say. No, I don't know, man. That's tough. I think all these Ruby guys, I can't say Steven Jackson's that much worse than Joe Ingles. Like, he's still got really cheesy animations and he plays really well, so I don't know. So anyways, you guys, that's the tier list. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys for sure every time you tune into my videos, so that's pretty cool. Tomorrow I'll be back with the power forwards and the centers later on in the day, so check that out if you want to support the channel, donate or whatever. Check the description, all my stuff be in there, including the link to tip, so go do that if you feel like it. I have a podcast that comes out every week too. It has nothing to do with 2K or NBA at all, so if you're interested, go check it out. Other than that, like I said, I'll be back tomorrow, and if you disagree with anybody in the tier list, jump in the comments down below, let me know what's up, and we'll hash it out, man. So anyways, peace out, guys.